One thing I can tell you is I just heard that little boom.
A fire tragedy. A father to a woman who lost her life in a triple fatal fire describes the heartbreaking scene on Youngstown's north side. A 24-year-old mother, her 2-year-old son, and 8-month-old daughter all died in this massive fire. This is what it looked like at 11:30 last night at 1524 Bryson Street. Today, we talked with her family and neighbors and learned how firefighters were injured trying to save their lives. And now we'll look at the aftermath. This is all that's left of that 2-story home. 5 people were inside, and only the grandparents made it out safely. Good evening, I'm Erica Thomas. Dave SESS has been out at that scene all day, talking to family members and neighbors about those 3 lives lost. And 27 First News reporter James SANTELLI is also there, talking to firefighters who were hurt. Let's begin our team coverage on Bryson Street and go live to Dave with our top story. Dave?
Well, as you can imagine, there's been so many stories that I've heard out here today from neighbors, from family, from people just driving by, like right now, another person who lives down the street, just not able to believe what actually happened here. When I first got here tonight, there was a cousin of Nakeme, who was here, Nakeme Autry, and she was telling me that the death toll could have been worse because her son regularly stays here with Nakeme. Could have been another one. She was glad and thankful that her son was with her in a car seat, in the back seat, still alive and hadn't been here when that fire rang out last night. Talked about the many people driving by. There's a memorial out in front of the house. We'll be showing you that coming up during the next 90 minutes of news here on 27 First News. But again, this neighborhood just in shock. Everybody loving this family and not comprehending what's going on right now. They all know each other, and they all saw that fire that you just showed. Flames so intense last night. They were all out of their houses immediately when that fire started to see what was happening.
Frank DeLeo is a night owl and was reaching for a snack last night after watching the 11 o'clock news.
So I come down on the porch and looked, and across the street, the house was engulfed. I mean, all the way.
6 people were inside. 3 made it out safely, and Frank recognized the first 2.
Neil just come out. He run out in his underwear. His wife was sitting right here.
A third person also escaped the inferno. Diana Davis lives next door, and she was watching the fire, looking at that second floor in the windows, praying for any sign of hope to see more people come out alive.
I was thinking just get the babies out. I knew they were in there.
But those babies didn't come out. Diana didn't want to be seen on camera. She was too heartbroken after seeing those children carried out by firefighters after they had lost their lives, along with their mother, Nakeme Autry.
It wasn't even 2 weeks ago that she brought them over on my porch and I was playing with them. Beautiful little babies.
A 2-year-old boy named Quincy and a girl just 10 months old. The precious children of a young mother, only 24 years old. Eric Fetty had grown up in the neighborhood and heard the news at 1 a.m. He came back to offer the family support and was flooded with memories.
I mean, I remember her running around when she was just out of diapers and her brother was in diapers. I've been around them their whole life. So it's just hard to see them go. It's like losing a sister and a niece and a nephew.
Now, the coroner has just changed the age of that girl that was killed, saying she was only 8 months old, not 10 months old. Now, as you heard, Nakeme Autry, age 24. The neighbor across the street, Frank DeLeo, 92. Yet they worked together to set up the computer in his house, and she even helped him set up contacts in his cell phone because he wanted to keep in touch with his daughter, who had provided that phone with him. Also, he was extremely proud when she came over and showed him that GED graduate certificate that she had gotten recently as well. Everybody driving by here just keeps asking me the same question: how did this fire start? Well, I can tell you that the fire chief said it's definitely not arson. There was no sign in this house of arson, but completely destroyed inside, all boarded up right now. I'll bring James SANTELLI in with me. He was here talking. You were at that press conference with the fire chief, so you heard some of these things that he was saying, and it's just they're searching still for a cause and looking around.
They are. He said it's still an open investigation. Ohio fire marshals were here all morning looking into it. They did maintain that it was started in the front of the house between the basement and the first floor. They're not ruling out electrical problems that could have caused it, but at this point, like you said, They do not think it's arson, but it's still an open investigation, and a lot of the evidence, as you can see, was already burned up.
And you are hearing this morning that there was a lot of firefighters here, and of course this was taking an emotional and physical toll on them.
A lot of firefighters. At one point the chief said that every fire truck save one was here at this scene, and there were 5 firefighters who were injured, had to go to the hospital. Certainly serious injuries, not life-threatening, but some injured their legs as they went through floors, as they were literally burning up under them. Some suffered second-degree burns, and for every firefighter that was inside, an emotional toll. Dave mentioned that this took a toll on the neighbors. It takes a toll on people who are even used to this kind of trauma, that deal with it all the time. Even for them, it was emotional, and that's something that I talked with the chief about and talked with somebody who specializes in trauma at Mercy Health. We'll be dealing with that later on in the show.
Just let me give you a quick couple things to wrap up. Some of you astute viewers seeing behind us that says crime scene tape. They say there is no sign of any inflicted injury, and again, no sign of arson here, so it's just kind of tape that they put up over a scene like this. James tells you at 5:30 he'll be talking about the firefighter angle of this story. At 6, I talk with the father and the grandfather of the 3 people who were killed inside this house. Much more ahead still on this fire coming up for you here on 27 First News. I'm Dave SESS reporting live on the north side of Youngstown.